Yeah, we're live.
All righty, that was funny. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. All that. Wherever you at, whenever you watch it, good, whatever time of day it is. Welcome to Charcuterie.
Yeah.
And sure, I gotta say it slow because I don't
Charcuterie. Aha. I got it.
I don't normally say it correctly. And the way I say it is just not for live local and late working. I'm already here to say no, that's not name.
Uh,
Um
I'm telling the truth.
Jesus. So this is the first episode of the relaunch. I have realized that a lot of people were asking and requesting for the podcast to come back because I tend to have conversations that most people don't. Because I, I, so my mother just turned it on and we hear it. Mike, you got earphone? Okay. Jesus. Um, Yeah, so I decided to relaunch. And the first person I wanted to relaunch with is Pastor P. Oh, it's formerly known as Pastor P. Also, Tupac's cousin.
I know
Yeah,
her.
that's cousin.
Is he alive?
It's a conversation for another day.
Conversation for another day. Okay. But she's so yeah.
Conversation for another day.
Jesus. Okay. So we do have a charcuterie. How do I name it and then can't say it?
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie board with sushi.
Sushi. It's no cheese and meat and olives and stuff.
Yeah, no, we not because I don't eat that mess. I mean I don't really eat sushi either, but we gonna figure out how to use chopsticks. And because Mari said we cannot use a fork.
No.
Do your hands count?
No.
Oh, mine may be in the floor. I'm just gonna be honest. Like,
So we're gonna try it out. But just to start allowing Pastor P to just introduce herself. I think we have been we've always known each other because we used to always preach on platforms. But we've been working in ministry together for about 10 years. You getting old.
Really?
So just want her to just introduce herself, give us a fun fact, and just tell people how much you love Lily. And I'm just the best thing that ever happened
I
to you.
don't do well with this fun fact thing. Okay,
It's a good.
We'll come up with something.
Okay.
So, hello everybody. I am Pastor Paulette Bastard, but they call me Pastor P. I'm the pastor of Jesus of Nazareth Free Will Baptist Church, the NAS. I have been pastor since 2013. As Julie's already said, we have been friends, had the sisterhood for longer than actually my pastoring, from just us sharing the ministry together to then getting to the point where we are now. So, as she said, yes, love her dearly. She knows that. Has a special place in my heart, and I am glad to be here to just relaunch our podcast.
Yes.
And I'm getting away with the fun fact thing because I don't have one.
So the story of us actually connecting outside of just preaching together. One Good Friday, I had wore these. I don't think it was Good Friday because we got with black.
No, it was in the morning. So
okay, I had these blue Nine shoes, navy blue. I actually still have them downstairs. And she was like, "Oh my God, my mother would love those. Where'd you get it from?" So I was like, "I got it from Nine West." And we searched high and low for them shoes. And we never found them. I went to another state looking for them. I asked Nine West to find them. They told me they had them at a certain store that was like 2 hours. And then we never found them. So from that point on, we've been like rocking and rolling. And I'm not responsible for any gray hair she has. contrary to what she may say. I keep the gray hair number down. Like it could be higher, but I lower it because I've never ever stressed her out. Like ever. Okay. So some of you actually did send in. Oh, we got people. Hey, Brett. Hey, you okay? You need some water? Oh, I thought something. I thought your throat was dry a little bit. Okay, just making sure. It was the truth. Okay, that's fine. Brits is laughing. Shamika said good morning. Shavonna said good evening. And Brittany said I can hear Mark breathing in the camera.
That we're not gonna pay attention to that.
Yeah, we have. My director is doing a wonderful job.
Hey, don't come for my little face.
Yeah, he's doing fabulous. So a couple people did send in questions. Some of them were just left field, so we're not gonna give those. Because people be trying me, but they don't know that Tupac is her cousin, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But they played. So one of the questions that was asked, so we're talking about ministryhood and sisterhood, and like a lot of people have wondered like how we balance both. Like how do we know the difference between Pastor P and Reverend Lee and Letty Betty and Lily? So how do you like not like turn it on and off, but in essence turn it on and off?
So that's a good question. And I know that is a thought that many people have. And it's not only just with that, but also it even relates to when you like pastor your family. Mm-hmm. Like I pastor several of my family members. So the same concept applies. And there is a level of respect that is just given that you just know the difference. Mm-hmm. So when it's almost like a turning on and off thing. Mm-hmm. So there are times when like we can trip, we can chill, we can laugh, we can joke. And then when it's business, when it's ministry, when it's rebuke, and when it's good or bad, it's received because the level of respect is there. So I definitely believe that we're able to navigate those waters as well as we do. Is because, like I said, the respect is there, but also I pass the family. so if you can do that effectively. Mm-hmm. And I mean, my father, who is my father, I'm his child, but I'm also his pastor. So even with that, it's just that creating that balance, and it's not always an easy thing. I will say that there were definitely some growing pains that we had, but I will say that I take it all as necessary because it helped develop us to the place of where we are now. So that I don't necessarily always have to like say it or think it, but you're already on it, or you know how to respond, or you know what I'm thinking, or you know what I'm saying, because we've been treading water so long together and gathering an understanding of what works, what doesn't work, and things of that nature. So it is. I'm not gonna sit and say like, oh, from the back, it was from the start, from the start, or from the break of his life. Oh yeah. No, it's been some rough times, but we've navigated it well.
I agree, and for a long time, a lot of members didn't even know that we were as close as we were. Because when I walk in the building, like I'm Reverend Lee, like I actually think I respect the pastor more sometimes than I do my sister. My sister, I give like a hard way to go, but I know when she gets in her, authoritative voice and it like pierces my soul, that we've definitely shifted, and I just need to be quiet, like period. But yeah, it was difficult because I've never, like she said, like we've never, this was new on so many levels. Like the entire transition for her was rough, even outside of me. And then with the passing of her mom, and then to come, because I originally came I'm the type of person that when somebody loses a loved one, I'm not necessarily there initially because I understand that once everybody leaves, once they stop bringing food, once they stop, just showing up here and there and texting you and checking on you, you still need that support. So I'm a person that, yeah, yes, obviously I'll go to funerals, whatever, but outside of that, I'm gonna lay low for a minute because when everybody leaves, that's when you need people the most. Um, and so I initially started coming to the NAS. I was scared at first for multiple reasons. Um, I originally came to the NAS to check on my sister, to see how she was doing, how she was still able to literally bounce back and fulfill the role of pastoring, like in less than 24 hours. Um, so like I came and I wanted to check on her. And then when I came that first Sunday and everybody was speaking in tongues and Ikadamashayim and rolling around, I walked back out the door. I called my mother. I said, I don't think I'm be able to do this. Like they got the Holy Ghost in real life.
A little different.
A lot of different. Like y'all came downstairs into the sanctuary and everybody that came downstairs was either crying or speaking in tongues.
The Lord had met us in the upper room.
Because like this praise and worship was going on and all you heard was, and I'm like, there's something, because they was all
God a great praise.
And anybody that knows me knows I don't do the city for nobody.
Still working on
Yeah,
it.
it's rough. Like I ain't gonna be able to do it. But when they came downstairs and they was like really, really speaking in tongues, that wasn't something I was necessarily accustomed to. And so it was different. Not that people in my previous church didn't speak in tongues, but for the most part, it was just like the intercessory prayer team when they was just like doing the little pre-worship thing and they was whatever. So I would always wait till they finish and then come into the sanctuary. But service never started. That day.
Yeah, I don't think
it didn't start. And then
it didn't get far.
After it was over, they was like, "Well, we gonna eat," and I was like, "Eat? What?" So I went and sat in my car because we had evening service that day. I went and sat in my car.
Every Sunday.
Well, yeah, we did. I sat in my car and I called my mother. Like, first of all, they in the hood. That's number one. Is tennis shoes up on the power lines, and I don't really know why. The one day I thought that somebody was having a celebration, like graduation or something, and it wasn't. It was somebody had passed, and I didn't know. And I was like, "Oh, this is so nice."
Yeah, and then, he even got the baby back shaking his head.
Yeah, it was embarrassing because I didn't know.
Yeah,
like,
it
was just rough. It was rough. But I kept coming back. And it was weird because once I go somewhere and I feel like, oh, this is too much Holy Ghost, I ain't gonna be able to do it, I don't go back. And something always, like I sat outside for 2 hours waiting for the next service.
She kept coming back.
I did. And I haven't left, and I don't have any intention on leaving because, like, even the membership, like, they were so loving, and they didn't know me at all. A lot of them thought I was already a member, so when she made me,
that's because she was there for so long before she joined that, when you come to the NAS, and after a while, where you haven't joined yet, but you're just around a lot, the members will put you to work. So they'll start giving you tasks, they'll start giving you assignments, they'll start giving you things to do because they feel like at that point you're a member, regardless if you walk down the aisles or not.
That was right.
So pretty much that's what happened. She was there so much and she had not walked down the aisle yet, but they started treating her like she had, because that's just who we are. That's just who we are. That's how we operate. So
that was right.
It worked.
It was actually Mother Johnson. It was a New Year's Eve service, and Mother Johnson had. That's when we would be up at the altar for the last prayer, whatever, of the year. And Mother Johnson just hugged me like she was my brain, and she was just like, "You're okay. You're home." And I was like, "This lady don't do like." And I hadn't really been in church prior to that for like almost 2 years. So yeah, it was an interesting experience. And they still crazy, but now I had to include myself in their craziness. Like I can't say they. Yeah, because yeah, it's rough. Um what used to be a challenge? This is actually a question for both of us. What used to be a challenge for you in ministry that's no longer a challenge?
I don't even know. I don't even know how I can answer that. I am my own worst critic, so that is a challenge, and it still is. Not something that I've overcome. I guess it's just my humility. Um, so I don't know. I mean, we on this journey we grow,
Mm-hmm.
but we're never fully grown. We're always still growing. So I don't really know if I have a solid answer for that. Because I can't say that it would be like sermon prep or study time or none of that because it's still things that it's ongoing and stuff that you have to do. It's not something that maybe it's just the timing that you give yourself, not waiting to the ninth hour. That was something that I definitely had to, especially when being in school, finding that balance of not waiting to the ninth hour to try to get things together, having that pressure of having to write a paper and or a sermon.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I have a solid answer with that.
So what have you learned most since being a pastor about yourself?
I don't know. I've learned definitely to establish boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely learning that burnout does not benefit you nor the people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to say no, and it's okay to put yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that, you know, in having conversations with other pastors that were like older than me or even my age, also having to realize that balance of family, and just where, so I definitely have learned that because what you don't want is for your child to be resentful to the church because they feel like the church took their parent.
Agreed. Agreed. And you've got a lot of patience. You didn't have the patience you have now. That you didn't have patience then that you actually have now.
Oh, absolutely. But that came with age. So I would say that came, I went into pastoring at my, not going to tell my age, but definitely young. So, and that was one of the concerns my mother always had, was because I have patience like my father, who actually, the older he gets, has more patience. And one of her concerns was that my patience was so short. And it was like, how are you going to pastor with patience? Like, you're going to have to, you're going to have more. And it's amazing to watch how God has given me patience that I never thought that I would have. And honestly, it's not just in church, it's in life, at work. And pastoring, honestly, has helped me be the leader that I am in other places and aspects of my life.
Agreed.
And you put patience out there. I feel like you must have felt like I didn't have a whole lot of patience.
You did not. You did not. You didn't. You did on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very patient. You was probably like a -6. You was like very. Maybe it was just with me because I always say.
I'm about to say because I got some other members that would feel like I was always patient.
Yeah, but you haven't really balled other people out the way you ball me out. Like as soon as I go, even if I turn and look in the direction of left, it's like I get balled out. Yeah,
you answer the question for you. What's your response?
What have I learned? People just be avoiding stuff, but it's fine. I think I've learned to be myself. I think so often when you're raised in the church and you have watched the model of church your entire life, you have the perception that you're supposed to be a certain way, and you have to lose your authentic self to be somebody else. And I've learned honestly with the Nas that I can be exactly who I am. Like I don't have to, if I'm having a not today day, like that's okay. But in most churches, like they still expect you to serve at full capacity when you have nothing in you, or when you're not feeling it. Like today you just can't. And I've learned that it's okay to be myself and to not be okay.
And to not be okay.
Yeah.
That's a very, very, very critical thing to understand. And that's a perception that unfortunately the church doesn't always display well. That I've said all the time, the master of masking. We mask very well.
Yep.
But inside broke down. Life disarray. But we stand up in front of the people and we just it's just we get this look of just feeling like that everything is okay, but it's not healthy. Not only for us, but oftentimes that transparency is somewhat, I'm not gonna say that you gotta fall apart in front of your people, but let them know that you're human. That you're not Superman, that you're not Superwoman, that you have feelings too, that you get upset, that you feel some type of way about something, because then that transparency will allow them to be able to be themselves and be more open. But when you just look one way, you start looking fake.
Absolutely.
I'm just flat out saying, you start looking fake. You start not looking, and then people don't know how to approach you because they don't feel like you understand what they're doing. Or they feel like they can't, they're going to feel like you can't relate, or you don't see them where they are. So then they just leave and they're bottled up with all these feelings and bottled up with all of this worry, and leaving feeling just as empty sometimes as they came, because they weren't able to just express what's really going on. And saying it's okay to not feel. It's okay.
I remember there was one Sunday I was leading praise and worship, and I just couldn't get it together. Like I just couldn't. I tried, and then I turned around, looked at you, and I was like, I need you to take it. And that was fine. But then I did have a moment where I fell apart. And I didn't feel initially like I felt nervous because that was the first time, because I'm not really a crier and I don't really do the whole emotion thing. That's just really ghetto. But I had started crying, and I just sat on the step of the pulpit, and I couldn't get it together. And immediately, like everybody just went into prayer. Like I felt like it was okay to not be okay, even though I had a duty and role to serve as praise and worship leader for the day. Like it's fine. Like you good. So let us make sure that you good. And then, because a lot of people in the kingdom, like a lot of people think that worship leaders are just supposed to keep going, keep moving, keep shaking. And they're like, how do I lead people into a presence that today I don't want to be in? And like you said, like it becomes phony, but
it's okay to also sometimes step back. Like when you feel yourself, and like you've had those moments or whatever, and others that have served in leadership capacities or ministry, when you have those times when you're tapped out, or when you have those times when you like, I just can't. It's one thing for you pushing yourself through something, and it's another thing when you're just pushing yourself when you are completely empty. And you have nothing to give, you have nothing to offer. Because in that point, you are preaching, you are singing, and you are speaking things that you don't even feel or believe at that moment.
Yep.
That's not helping you, and it's not helping the people.
Right.
And what ends up happening is you end up bleeding on the people, or you end up, like you said, how can you usher in the presence of the Lord for somebody else is sitting out in the congregation that needs him, when right now you struggling to hear him yourself? So it's okay to have those moments when you step back and you're like, I'm gonna have to sit down for a little bit. Like, I this is just not a good season for me, or this is I just need a couple weeks to regroup, or I need some time to get myself together. And that's okay. It's better to do that and heal than to keep trying to serve broken.
Right.
So yeah, that's a key thing. I think that a lot of times we need to do like self examinations and see like when is it truly, like when are those moments when we need to take a step back. Or those moments when we need to kind of just regroup. And if that means you sit down for a couple Sundays and just let somebody else sing, or let somebody else preach, or let somebody else worship lead, then so that your soul can be fed, then you do what you got to do. Because when you serve and when you lead, you're exhausting so much of yourself, trying to make sure that somebody else gets what they need, that oftentimes you miss what you need in the process.
And I think you modeled that well. Of course, you would even say like not necessarily initially, because you talked to us about a season where you were completely burnt.
Oh, yes.
But now, like you model taking a break. Like you text like me and Reverend ask you, and you like, I need y'all to take these next couple weeks because I need a minute. And when the leader actually models that, it shows not only transparency, but it also shows necessity. Like we if you can do it, and you the whole pastor in the Lord's church, then why can't I? Like anybody can. Like whether you're a trustee, a usher, a deacon, whoever. Like that's I do definitely appreciate, and me and Reverend Askew have actually talked about that a couple times. Like the fact that you're completely open with being like, I need y'all to pour into me. And I think a lot of pastors are so, how do I say this politically correct? Full of themselves per se, that they feel like they can't receive from their preachers. And so it's like, but if you license me, if you ordain me, did you not trust the gift that God has given me for even you? Like most people be like, when I need a break as a pastor or preaching on a Sunday, I go get my homeboy, get them from out of town, whatever, my homegirl. But we got preachers here that have something to offer our pastor as well.
And part of that is part of why I do that also too is because one, it gives you all an opportunity to be able to stand. Two, it gives me an opportunity to see the growth and development. That if I'm not there, like, there are moments when you are feeling for me when I'm not there because I have another engagement, I have something else going on. But I like to be there to also hear, because I can see and hear how you all have grown, how you all have developed, and gives me a level of comfort that if somebody calls me and says, I need a preacher, or I'm contemplating, inviting Jaleesa or Lolita, what do you think? I can honestly give my perspective and say, oh yeah, they'll be fine. Oh yeah, they'll be good. Oh yeah, go more so than if I don't hear you because I'm never there when you preach.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
So it's and I mean, and I don't say it just because you all are our members or whatever. Y'all can preach. So I appreciate being poured into, but I also appreciate as pastor being able to see your growth and your development and what God is doing in your lives. So yes, I'm not a person that believes that my membership wants to hear me every Sunday. I know they love me. I know that, I am Pastor P, and, your sheep, they hear, they know your voice. However, I also feel like every now and then, when you have somebody else stand, they appreciate that as well. One, because they know it gives their pastor a break. Two, because they get to hear somebody else. So it's vice versa. So I can't necessarily speak for other people and how they govern their house, but that's just my take on it and why I kind of do what I do. I learned that from my mom. My mother, she had like a steady rotation. At one time, we had about 10 to 12 preachers at Jesus Nazareth, and they all rotated out between worship, leading, preaching, praying, scripture, and she just, kept it. And this just was steady rotation and giving people an opportunity that they wouldn't necessarily maybe have if they were somewhere else. So,
agreed. That Reverend Lohita, she can preach, honey. You just call her every time, okay? And then we got Audie Marty.
Y'all can flip a coin.
Well, we don't have to flip. Audie and Lohita can flip coin in about a year or so. Because, yep, I don't feel no type of way. So I'm trying something.
Sandy must not be on.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
It's okay. We won't have to talk
probably
about
be in
it.
the comment section.
Nah, it's okay. We don't have to tell about it. Okay, people just don't be minding their business. And so what do you think stands between me and where I want to go or where I need to go? You say that as pastor and sister?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we go to the next question.
Okay. I need to be clear?
I don't want you to be clear.
Okay.
I was fine with that. What's most important to you right now? It was the deep breath for me. Wait a minute. I probably should have sent you these, but the natural reaction is just blessing.
I would say kind of just like finding our footing. What's important to me right now is continuing to sustain what God has given, but also just trying to figure out the next. So that is a very important thing right now. Listening, truly have my ears open, heart open, mind open, willing to receive whatever the Lord has to say. And just in the direction that He will have for us to go. So I would say that is definitely key and important right now, because transition is, it comes with its challenges, and it comes with its victories as well. So in the midst of transition, just ensuring that we have everything that we need, but also just where do we go from here, and just making sure that aligns to what God has to say. So right now, that's definitely high priority.
Okay, that makes sense. Just don't listen to him while you're leaving. If he starts talking, the door is right there. So you can just go ahead and go. Okay, so it was a question on. Brittany says social media for Pastor P. She is really down with being on camera now. Oh, she was giving you your props. Listen, let me tell you, the only thing that I'm grateful for about that pandemic was the fact that somebody broke on free. I felt good.
Because I had no other choice.
I have been asking her to go live for at least 5 years. And this baby was like, if somebody want to hear the word, they're in the church. Let them come. If they don't come, they don't hit.
Whosoever will, let them come. The doors of the church are open. That was how I felt. I'm like, they want to hear what's going on. We would post little snippets and stuff like that. But I'm like, be intrigued by the snippet, pull up to the church. But then the pandemic came.
And what happened, Pastor?
Man, let me tell you.
What happened to you?
That pandemic came. It just shifted the whole little atmosphere. It shifted the whole situation. I had to learn in some instances to be my own media person.
Testify.
Until we had gotten things hooked up together, I would have 2 iPads running and a cordless phone and all of this stuff. And then thank God, Reverend Washington and Jerome stepped in, Deacon Jerome stepped in, and just. But yeah, it was a challenge, because I am very reserved. So
that's an understatement.
So I was just like, oh my gosh. But I'm grateful for it now. Because even though it's still uncomfortable, it was definitely a platform that we needed. During the pandemic, it showed that being able to have family members from different states and people from different areas, people that sometimes we didn't even know, that were able to watch service and being able to support and being able to be blessed by the word and the encounter. So I get it. I do. I get it now. But then at the time, I was old school. So, I was just like, oh, but I wasn't so old school to the point that when the times changed that I knew that, you had to change with the times. Like I knew that had to happen. So yeah,
I'm just so when Brother Deacon Jerome said, okay, Pastor, like it's a pandemic. We gotta do something. I sat on that phone and I said, oh God, I hear you. And I was so happy. And he was like, Lily, what you think? And I was like, she already know. But
I went with it.
We thank God for growth.
That was growth.
Because I really thought at first that when we got back into the church, you was going to be, yes, Lord Jesus, I was nervous.
Let me tell you, it's some people, transparent moment. It's times when, and I know I ain't the only pastor that's saying this, but there are some times when you get frustrated, sometimes by attendance, and you be like, we should cut this live feed and see. But you gotta do what you gotta do, and it's not, it's sometimes you have your seniors that just can't get out that day. You have those that are sick, or just homebound. They can't necessarily get out, so it definitely serves as a blessing. And sometimes you have to look at the bigger picture, and realize. But there were other people that I talked to too that was like, I'm contemplating just stopping mine, and I was like, oh,
go back over there. You ain't got no clothes on.
I was like, yeah, but it worked out. I'm still growing, but ta-da! That was a hurdle that
we thank God. Pastor Young said, you know what I mean? Cut it, mercy. Go upstairs and get it. Shamika said, I love the Inside Baptist. You one of the problems. You one of the reasons why the live was going to get cut.
And honestly, so like that's conversation
Go
that,
ahead.
it is one that we're just trying to figure out the best approach to this because, a lot of people are experiencing across, it's not just a denomination. Mm-hmm. I would say just across church in general. Yep. The pandemic has changed so much in the world, not just in the church, in the corporate world, everything. You have people places that never work from home, and now their people are completely remote. And now you have buildings that are sitting idle with nobody in them because people are working from home. And now, corporations are trying to figure out how they're going to adjust, how they're going to move forward in situations where you can't really justify people coming back into the workspace. Right. And it's kind of like the same thing with church, where it's like, people are saying like, Bedside Baptist works for me, or I can just roll over and I can just watch the service online and get what I need. And for some people, if that works for you, that's fine. There are some people that they like, no, I would rather have a Baptist fit in church and be in corporate fellowship than to be at home because the feeling is not the same. And I honestly think it's just really what you're looking for in this season and what you honestly need. It really comes down to the person. Like I'm a person working from home, honestly would not work for me. God bless everybody who it works for. It just would not work for me. It just wouldn't. No, because my focus I'm all over the place. So I would be washing clothes, I would be sweeping the floor, I would be in between calls doing something else, so I know me. That would not work. But there's some people that do it that love it. And that's the same thing with church. There are some people that now they're like, this suffices for me. And then there are some people that's like, yeah, no, I need to get back in the building. But what I will say is from a pastoring standpoint, it definitely helps us when we see you in the pew rather than us seeing your name popping up online, because your physical presence matters. And I think that that's what people have forgotten, is that their physical presence matters. It matters a lot. A lot of pastors will be very transparent and say some of the biggest struggles that they had during the pandemic was recording in front of empty pews in the empty church and nobody being there but them in the media. they were glad when the doors of the church opened back up
Amen.
to be able to, right, to be able to preach. I used to be sometimes in my house, like, you know, amen microwave, because, you know, it was outside of reading the comments. It was, you know, so that is, so I think that the people just need to be reminded that your presence matters. And look, I get it. If you don't come every week, because life be life and all this is hard, I get it. But if it's your thing to come into the building, if you show up just look, you know, what, twice or something like that, it definitely, honestly, it helps the pastors. It helps the pastors, and it also helps you. It helps you. It helps you. Nothing like corporate fellowship.
Pastor Jesse Young said, it looks like the church is the only place that you can catch COVID.
And that is true, Pastor. That's true. That's true. You know, everybody's going everywhere. We ain't, you know, trying to be folk, but it's true. You know, you go to the grocery store, you go to the mall. People go on vacations. They get on planes, which is you sitting closer to somebody on a plane than you would sit to them in church. But we are in a place where, you know, people just, I think we've just lost sight of just what's important. And people have gotten very comfortable. So it's just it's different. I'm still adjusting. So.
Britt said, yep, I would definitely rather be in a church house. Shavonna said, yeah, that's me. I need an apostolic fit in person and fellowship. Not Shamika said, not amen microwave. Yes, she would. She would. Amen lights. Yeah, she absolutely would.
And like we said, we're not knocking nobody that if that's what works for you, that's great. But I feel like that's not for everybody. I feel like that's not everybody's testimony. But some people, that's your testimony. Some people, I just think they just got comfortable being home.
Agree. That's yep. All right, so we have one more question. I'm actually gonna grab it off this live. Why y'all gotta talk about me? How difficult is it to balance Reverend Lee and Lily? It's not. Let me answer for her. It is not difficult. It just comes real smoothly, and we good. We don't have no bad moments. Nothing. I listen to everything.
As I said before when we first
started, Jesus.
It comes with challenges.
That's
Jaleesa is very stubborn. So, and that's part of her sign. Her zodiac sign. She is definitely she's stubborn. So when it's something that I'm sorry. Oh, okay, baby, no, you can't.
He's coming. You gotta give him a second.
Help.
Okay.
Just Amari, is there any way you can get through here?
We don't want the baby to come
because he got it's just his drills.
Because I believe that Jesus had more clothes on in the manger than he got on.
He probably did. He wanted you to plug up this tablet.
Amen.
Sorry, this is part of being live. Just kids. Brittany said very stubborn and like to be disobedient.
So yeah. Train thought. So the stubbornness and also and we've talked about this before, just the consistency. Yeah, so it's not, and these are not things that she's not heard. But I would say just being stubborn in her consistency. She's always said that I believe more in her than she believes in herself. I push her to limits that she doesn't necessarily want to be pushed to.
Agreed.
And I told her that I will continue to as long as I have breath in my body, because she is gifted and talented beyond what people honestly still don't know. Just how gifted and talented she is. So I continue to push on her to be as great as she can possibly be. So I would say that the balance of that is knowing sometimes when to pull back, and just being like, okay. And those times when it's like, Pastor P gonna keep pushing. Like that's who I am. So certain things I'm not gonna let her give up on. Certain things I'm gonna continue to keep pushing her to, because I know that there's greatness inside of her. The flip side to it is there could be personal things or whatever, where I'm just like, all right, I spoke my piece, I said what I said, I'm done. Like I ain't gonna keep talking about it because you heard me, and vice versa. So I would say that's kind of where that balance probably would be between dealing with Robin Lee and Lee.
I'm not stubborn.
No, you really are. Please don't make it on the starch pasta.
You gonna kill him? Your brother? You can't tell the people that you're gonna kill.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
Oh, okay.
He said he was gonna hug him.
Yes, hug him.
Yeah.
Hug him.
I didn't say I was going to. Who said that? That wasn't me.
All right, so this is the Charcuterie show.
Just say Steve.
Charcuterie.
Thank you, Amari. But that's the name of the podcast. I might have to take it because that word, if I say it too fast,
It's like cute.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just make sure whoever I have as a guest know how to say it, or Amari can just keep saying it. I'm not really a fan of sushi, so I'm challenging myself on this as well. They're both cooked because what we're not gonna do is be on here gagging and spitting stuff out and just
I love raw sushi.
That's nice.
So we have the classic veggie roll and the California roll. The challenge.
Champagne toast. Everybody was strong.
That's yum yum sauce and soy sauce.
Where did you get this from?
Store.
Like what store?
All of them got it.
Like
Why not?
That's that country side.
Walmart and Weiss. And John has them.
As I like the real yum yum sauce, and it's like knockoff.
I don't know. We better find out.
Okay, because I've been looking for some yum yum sauce.
It said it was the real yum. No, it didn't say real yum yum, but the challenge is going to be the fact that Amari said we cannot use fork or finger. You have to try.
I think I know how to make try this.
All right, you want the veggie or the California?
What's in that?
Imitation crab, cucumber, and avocado.
Nope.
Really?
The only avocados I like is guacamole.
You don't really taste it.
That's an interesting way to hold it.
That's hot.
Yeah, I don't want that. Mommy got a whole thing of it in the refrigerator. She asked if we wanted it. Definitely don't. Okay, so we're gonna.
You gotta say grace. Can't be on here like eating and not praying.
Yeah, what we think this food we finna receive. Let us know how to use these chopsticks so I don't have to kill Amari and Jesus. And we pray now.
Amen.
This is what the grace. Okay. I'm not doing wasabi. That's disgusting. That is not how you.
That's not how you do it.
I was hoping that it all came up.
No.
It's not a fork.
You got plate.
Amari, grab a plate over there.
How is supposed to work?
Why are you doing it like a fork and a knife?
You're supposed to eat it all in one bite.
This is the part of the relationship there. Frustrate. Thank you.
It fell apart.
That's because you stabbed it. Thank you, Amari. Your face. Your face.
Not bad.
Okay, so I'm gonna try.
Just soy sauce?
Yes. I don't know what I'm doing.
You like it?
Oh, look like I got focus.
You gotta hold it up more.
Now you got you both of them.
I just gotta eat one.
You gotta hold it up more.
What?
Gotta hold it up. Oh.
You're good, Mark.
It's falling apart.
No, yours fell apart. You didn't have number rights.
You gotta.
Okay, wait. And I thought you was gonna struggle.
The mere fact that the child had to come from behind the camera to help the grown
You
people.
judging?
No, I'm not.
You're supposed to hold it up more, so like it's not supposed to be.
But when I hold it like
Next
this,
time when you have a guest, just pick simple things so you just be able to.
but that not takes the fun out of it.
What's in here?
Curds, avocado,
Just healthy.
and cucumber.
That's a piece on it.
You sure though.
I'm really not.
You showing off. I don't like nothing about it. That's real just Tacky and okay, so we did that. Oh, hey, Deanta.
Why did you put the whole thing in your mouth?
Well, we really getting both out on camera?
Oh, I think that was towards me. I feel good.
Yeah, that was you. All right, hold on, I got it. I got it. Ah. All right.
Mommy
Okay.
says you look like you finna write with them chopsticks.
So Brittany, mind her business. All right, last question and we're getting out of here. What is...
I feel like you're coming out with this one.
Yeah, this one my question. It's not off the top of my head though. What is the funniest memory that you have of us?
I already know.
I would never tell that part. You talking about bop bop bop? I wouldn't tell nobody. I would never tell nobody. I mean, that I wouldn't do that. I swear to God, I wouldn't.
So then what else is it?
It's your turn. I wouldn't tell that because that was embarrassing.
So what? I'm trying to figure out. There have been many, but I'm trying to think what sticks to my. That one is like
The top.
that's like the top.
But I wasn't gonna use that one.
Well, which one was you gonna use then?
You go first.
No, I'm trying to figure out like which one were you gonna use?
I have a lot. Oh, but wait, you talking about that? I was actually going the one about the beat. When we both almost died and Khalil wasn't coming upstairs to help us. See, you thought I was going
That
throw
was
you under
mine.
the bus.
I did.
Sister. I would never do that.
All right, go ahead. No.
That's a good one. That's a safe one.
The people probably wonder why we talking about at this point.
Because the other one is just
Okay,
I'm
I'll
embarrassed.
just full transparent.
You
moment.
don't
I'm not going to tell the whole story because I'm not going to bore y'all with the whole story. I'm just going to tell the most embarrassing part of the story.
that wouldn't be boring.
So we were at an event, and I did not take into consideration that we were going to have to do some walking. So I had on some shoes that were heels, and they were not shoes that you walk far in. So I didn't know that we was going to have to walk across gravel. And I thought I looked cute that day.
You did, sis.
And I don't like a lot of attention to be drawn to me.
You had it all eyes on you.
So the gravel had got up underneath the bottom of my shoe. And I wasn't trying to take an L. Because we don't do that. So I definitely wasn't trying to fall, and I wasn't trying to cause a scene. But me trying to get my footing was causing it to sound like, I guess, a car was backing up because the gravel was kicking up so bad. So we're walking together, but I'm struggling in silence because I'm trying not to say nothing because I got my purse on my shoulder.
And you was walking behind me.
There was just a lot going on. I was just trying to keep my focus was my balance. And she kept hearing this gravel kicking up. And that's when she just turned around and was like, yo! And I guess I looked like the Weeble Wobble. And she grabbed me like this. It was like, are you okay? Are you okay? I ain't gonna lie to her. I was glad that she snatched me up because my ankles was giving out. It was not working well. I was definitely trying to take out.
She made me mad. You really.
I was trying not to draw attention to myself.
You could have asked for help.
I was trying to get it together.
But when you figured out that you was falling for 3 minutes, Then you asked for
because
help.
I felt like I could get my footing. I felt like I could just get control of the situation.
That was a rough day for you.
It was. We want to talk about that.
Hmm.
But that was the most because I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it all out there. in front of all
You
the people.
could have. You could have.
So I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You snatched me up a little rough, like definitely snatched me up like I was one of the children. But I appreciate it because it gave me that firm foundation that I needed to stay in. So I appreciate that.
Cousin said, now she was back there walking like Bambi.
It was bad. I learned the lesson that day. Never. As good as I walk in hills on top on gravel. It was a good combination.
It was rough,
and I was a good combination.
That actually made me mad.
Yeah, you was a little. I'm like, but I don't understand how you got an attitude that I was falling. Like if anything,
Because I heard the sound for a minute, but I thought maybe it was somebody actually driving on the gravel.
Well, whatever. Yeah, me. It was me. I was driving. Was trying to stay 10 toes down. It was too many people outside. I couldn't have took no L like that. I'm telling you, if I'd have felt, I just would act like I was kneeling and praying. I just would have felt like I'd have acted like the spirit just hit me at that moment. And I just
On the parking
down.
lot?
He can hit the spirit can hit you anywhere.
2 miles away from the building?
The spirit can fall anywhere. That's what you just, I
That-
act like
that was it.
I'd have been like, oh God, we thank you. Yeah.
Mommy said, what about the bench breaking? Cousin said, OBJ, you petty for that one. That was actually a good one. I'm already, I think your brother. We were here eating crabs. We was eating
Don't
seafood.
tell friend business.
I wasn't going to tell about friend. I was going to tell about your position through the entire process.
Oh my gosh.
So we was eating crabs and seafood. And so I had like a long bench on the side that Paula and cousin was at. And all of a sudden, the bench just gave out. I'm not going to say what happened to cousin because that's our business. But this nigga, like literally stayed, the bench was gone. And she literally just kept eating like. I said, and I was confused because I didn't know why one didn't make it, but the other one did. And I'm like, what happened?
I felt.
Then why you ain't signal?
No.
The problem.
No. It was happening too fast. And when the shift took place, I was already still in the seated position.
But how do you like?
I don't know. God blocked it. He wouldn't let me fall.
That's your testimony. Every time you were supposed to fall, the
God
Lord
blocked
just.
it.
I don't. Tara said, "Help me." Yeah, Tara was young with help, and you was just like
I was concerned.
you were still under the table, like you just literally looked
Okay,
like
so we're
the
going to
bench
talk about
wasn't gone.
We're going to talk about everybody that was partaking, that was there on that day. So how about our beloved Reverend SQ, who sat there and turned and kept eating, like it didn't happen. like our pastor wasn't still sitting there with no chair behind her, and that another member wasn't had, because I ain't gonna tell friend business. And Reverend SQ was still sitting there like.
But she turned around and looked like she looked at you. She looked.
And so I guess she felt like everybody was all right. So
We've had some great. Britt was the real MVP that day.
she was. You were.
Brittany said Jesus became your chair because you never folded. Yeah. So we have. It's never a dull moment for anybody that's a member or in relationship, friendship, sistership. Like
None of them.
it's. I always tell people like. They think I be joking about it, but this is not all that it's cracked up to be. Like you definitely are a target to just be amongst the number. But yeah, honey, that day you was fighting them rocks. I'll never forget it.
Oh no, that's one for the books. I never experienced anything like that before.
And I hope
I
you
pray to
never
God I never
experience it again.
experienced it again.
And if you do, I don't want to be there.
Now you know you just got tip. Got tip lightly.
No, you got to keep your flats on until.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta have them in your bag. I didn't know. I wasn't prepared.
And then even
For
after
the
you was
distance
about to
to
fall,
be so
you didn't
far
put
away.
the other shoes back on.
Oh, I didn't have no other shoes. Those were all because I wasn't prepared to walk. I wasn't prepared to journey. Thought we was gonna have pocket. Oh, we had to far, catch the shuttle. I wasn't anticipating that. So that's what happened. I was out there on the gravel, shuffling,
And that was the last time.
trying to make it worse, but that's okay. But we
we
praise the Lord for deliverance, and we praise God for sturdy ankles.
Cousin said, all I'm gonna say is whoever that happened to is probably Trump. Yeah, I don't think cousin has been back since.
It's all right.
Because right after that was the pandemic. So yeah. Oh, cousin. Oh. All right. So I thank you, Pastor P. That's what Logan calls it on Monday mornings because he sleeps through Sunday. So every Monday morning he wakes up
They stress him out
for Pastor P, and he missed Sunday. So anyway, I appreciate it. You don't do stuff like this ever or often, but you always do it when I ask you to. So the last one was with me, you, and Lady Lisa, and that was good as well. So yeah, I appreciate it, and I just pray the best for you, and that you just stop stressing me out.
Amen.
Do you have any last words or comments? Pastor P.
No. Hope that you all enjoyed, learn some things about us and our relationship, ministerhood, sisterhood, and just continue to just keep us in prayer.
Please.
And yeah, so it's been real. It's been good. This, as you said, this is outside my comfort zone. I don't do stuff like this. I'm like the person that people don't really believe it or not, but I'm like the person that kind of sits in the back and just be like, yeah. So this is definitely
you don't preach like you that type of person,
because that's the Lord.
That's
how you truly know that it's him.
He preaches and he hollers. So that's
him. That's not me.
Okay, that's fine.
So I am. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. We will set the next date. I'm trying to get well, she's kind of like an aunt to me, but everybody has been asking questions about my liver transplant journey. Honestly, the majority of it I don't remember because I was a baby. But my best friend Brittany, who actually had a transplant at the same time, but passed away. I think I was 16. On first day of spring, her mother is going to join me and just share her experience with me, with Britt, and with my mother, because apparently they were out here in these streets being ratchet. And I'm excited to hear about the ratchet side of Jamie Washington. So, as soon as we get a date.
DJ, I don't believe you was ratchet.
Oh, she was ratchet, honey.
DJ, you innocent until proven guilty.
I know. That's why I'm going to bring the main witness.
DJ, they don't have proof.
Would you ratchet, Mom?
DJ, you don't have to feel compelled to answer that question right now. If they want to know, let them tune in next time.
Yep. So that they can hear that she was ratchet. Like ratchet. But it's okay. It's fine. So we love y'all. Thank y'all for joining and commenting and all that good stuff.
We're going to struggle through the rest of it.
Yeah, we're going to figure this out. And we got some fruit down there. And there's some Danishes in there for my nephew. I always think about him because he's most important. Let's really talk about it. All right. Love y'all. Bye-bye. Amara, you can hit the end live button. Thanks to my director. Go ahead, baby.